Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. It's time for the Congrats Grad sketch with me. I hope you all are ready to learn how to make a graduation hat. It's a fun project and it just enhances the sketch and gets things ready for a graduation layout. So whether or not you've had a grad this year or maybe last year like me, you'll have a layout ready to go for when you have your pictures ready to go. So let's get to the project. So here it is. The sketch for today is from March 2021. It will be linked in the description box below this video. I'm gonna hold it up a minute here. And this was originally done with our Keep the Faith collection. But I'm going to turn it into our graduation layout. And we're not doing circles. You'll see. Bear with me. I don't always follow a sketch the way it looks like it should be followed. I do need to let you all know that if you don't have the Congrats Grad collection, you can use back to school. There is another option here. So within our back to school designer paper pack, there is a diploma and hat page that's really fun and speaks to graduation. Has a ruler on the back of it. And then also we have our back to school annual paper pack that has one, of course, for your senior, or if you have a kindergarten graduation, there's also a sheet for kindergarten. I didn't actually pull that one out though, but for the senior is here. If my camera will focus. There you go. For the senior is here. And on the back, there also are quite a few caps and squiggles, but if you're doing a 12 by 12, you're going to use this entire sheet. If you're going to do it as an 8 by 8, then you will cut out part of it. And if you're interested in a class on how to do an 8 by 8 to make a back to school album, send me an email, creativepageswithcatherine@gmail.com, and I will get one put on the schedule. I did actually just list quite a few virtual classes coming up in the late summer and fall on my website, which is linked in the description box below, www.creativepageshub.com. It's all one word. So it's exciting to have a graduate. And last year my son graduated high school. And so I actually have told you all that anytime I introduce a collection, I will try to do a sketch with it. And it's amazing that this just released a couple of weeks ago. The stickers are still available for sale, and the ebony album cover is also available. That looks like a cap. It has a cap on it as well. But unfortunately, the paper pack and the embellishments I'm using today are sold out already. If you were lucky enough to have gotten some, then you can do the layout I'm doing today. I really, otherwise, take a look at the back to school collection or other paper packs, and you can still do this as well. So this was our Congrats Grad. I did grab a sheet of black cardstock, and you will see why in just a moment. The two designer pieces of paper I'm using from this collection are the golden diamond pattern with the tassels on the back. And you'll see we're actually going to place this one in a diamond on our page because I was inspired to do a cap. So we'll see how it works out for me. Sometimes I don't know until I actually get into the project. This is my other designer sheet I picked. It has the confetti on it. On the back side, there are some diagonal lines. So these two are 4x6 mats, and then these two are 4x4. So I also have cut the confetti paper into a 1/2 inch by 12-inch strips because I was inspired a bit by our sketch. And on the sketch, they had 3. And I thought, okay, that's a lot. How wide do I want to have it? And I didn't necessarily want to layer my photos as heavily as what they did here. And then with my adding the diamond, I just wanted to make sure that the spacing was nice. And this, I kind of wanted, I was inspired by the kids who decorate their caps and want a design on those. And that's actually what we're going to be doing up here as a designer element on our page. So this 1/2 inch by 12-inch, I cut 3 of those. And the third one is going to go up in this top corner because, again, that's kind of what we see here on our sketch. And what I did was I used my 45-degree line on my trimmer. So this line here, I lined up my paper at the 1/2 inch mark over here. It's the first grid line on the opposite side of the trimmer, and I took and I lined it up first with the point at the top, and then you need to flip over your paper, and then I lined it up at the bottom because I didn't want to take as much. Well, on one end I took a little more than on the other end, but this was my 1/2 inch by 12. I cut it in half at 6 inches, and then I lined up at the 1/2 inch to do the both mitered corner and have the little decorative edge on the end of that little piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and start sticking things down here. I have my parchment board. I have my tape runners. I have my repositionable tape. And I am going to start in this top corner because that's kind of where everything is going to go out from. And let's get this first up. Actually, let's get the second one done as well. So then that way we can line up our points better. So yes, both of these. So you can see how by flipping that piece of paper, you actually get it so your points come together and line up nicely to create a seamless corner. Whereas with my other end of my paper, okay, this is not going to work out for me. I'm going to have to put one down first and then get the other one down. All right. Oops. Okay, is that in the top there? I think so. Scoot that over just a hair. Here we go. There's that. Okay. Oops. All right. Come on, cooperate with me here. All right. So in this corner, you can see we did have the mitered corner, and that slipped a little bit on me as well. Goodness gracious. Trying to get it to line up nicely. And to have the bottom at the edge of the cardstock as well. There we go. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit more than others. Whereas, so this one I mitered the corner, and this one we're just going to layer the papers in this corner. It's about 1/4 of an inch from each edge. I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to wait to put my mats down because I do want to get these two down next. And we're just going to, like I said, overlap them just a little bit. Gives it a different look. I think on the sketch, let me get the tape on first and then I'll show you the sketch. On the sketch, they hid it underneath the circle they put in the corner. Here we go. So you don't have an end at this bottom here. They hid it. I think this is where they cut off the parts that they used up here. But, since I kind of didn't want it, it looked funny actually when I layered the square with the pieces in the corner. And I thought, let's keep it clean, keep it simple. I do like to take some of these complicated things and just make them simple and more approachable for all of us to put together. Just lovely pages that aren't going to take us 2 hours to put together here. So give it about 1/4 inch up your black cardstock and then just layer those two over each other. So you can see here is this corner, and we're going to leave a little bit of the black cardstock showing because see when you put this down here, it looks kind of funny. I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. So there's that. And it is like that. So you can let me know in the comments what you're going to do with yours. But I hope you appreciate me showing you both ways there. And let's get our mats down here. And I don't necessarily need my parchment board for this part of it, but sometimes it's nice to be able to have that little bit of extra space. Here we go, just using my regular tape runner. And here we go. I'm not actually pushing down on that yet because I want to make sure I have my spacing where I want it. And the regular tape runner will stick down stronger than what the repositionable does. So I want to make sure that I'm lined up before I actually push things down here. That looks pretty good. Okay, so our 3 ones that have the straight lines are going down, and then this last one I'm going to place as a diamond up here to create the effect of having a graduation cap that we're going to decorate a little bit here. Okay, so what I've done, I have a punch here. It's our piece by piece mini punch trio set. And in this set, we have this middle punch that has this circle in it. And I took my black cardstock and I punched out a circle so that way we could have it in the middle of our diamond here to create, they always have like a little button so that way you can tie your tassel onto it. And my son's school colors were aqua and black, so I had a leftover piece of aqua cardstock that I've pulled out. I also took it's an 1/8 of an inch by 6 inches, and then I also cut a strip of black that was an 1/8 of an inch by 6 inches. And then I took a little bit of my precision point adhesive and just put a little dot in the top because we're going to need it. And you'll see in just a moment here, I'm not actually going to stick this down until after I get my tassel woven and placed and trimmed a little bit. So let me put my dot on my parchment board so I don't lose it. And then I also have cut a 1/2 inch by 2 inch piece from our black cardstock. And then I went just ever so slightly over with the aqua. So that way it layers just a little bit because this is going to be the end of our tassel. We're going to create a fringe. And again, I just took a little bit of our precision point adhesive and I stuck these two together. So where the bottom ends are going to come apart and fringe out for us, but our top will stay together really well. And, it gave my glue a chance to dry. So let's see if I can make this happen here. I just want to twist these and kind of layer them over each other I have this end that's glued, and if we wind up cutting a little bit of the glue off later, we can. So I'm just going to weave this black piece over the blue, which is not as easy as what I thought it was going to be, but I'm still going to try. Or maybe we should just twist our paper and do it that way. Yep, that's easier. Okay, so twist and go. Hold your top straight. And I am just twisting. Oops. Here we go. So it's kind of weaving the school colors together. This one end is staying straight in my one hand, and the other end, I am actually just going to hold this down on the paper to make my life easier. I'm going to try to get this to go kind of tightly together so that way it looks like a tassel. Whoops. Okay. So you all know sometimes I get these crazy ideas and sometimes they work out for me and sometimes not. Looks like this one's actually doing okay. I thought about putting the repositionable tape on it, but I don't think that that's going to hold it tight enough. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just, let me hold on to this end because I want it coming off and then I want the tassel coming off. So we're going to actually hold on to this. I'm going to glue it down using my precision point adhesive because this stuff is strong and it should hold it. You just squeeze it a little bit. So I've got a little dot. It comes out blue. And then as it dries, it goes clear because basically I want my tassel coming off this way. So there's that. We're going to give it just a moment to stick. And while that is getting stuck, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting my fringe using my microchip scissors. And I don't think I want it to be the 2 inches long. But what I wanted to do was kind of give it a little bit of definition. And because, you know, those tassels, they kind of have a skinnier top on them. So I thought, let's go ahead and cut ours with a little bit of a skinnier top on it as well. So we're taking down our 1/2 inch piece to about 1/4 inch here. I just took my scissors and I just free cut it. And now I'm going to take, I think, and cut maybe about a 1/2 inch off here. Let me measure it for you all because I know somebody's going to ask me later if I don't tell you now. So there's my 0. That looks like 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so I was, well, it's, what is that? 5/8. So it's between a 1/2 and 3/4. You can eyeball it and see what looks good for you. I might even wind up taking a little bit more. We'll see. Okay, my tassel's unwinding a little bit, but it's good that it's sticking down with the glue. Whoops. We are going to go ahead and start snipping away now. And I'm just going up the paper here, kind of just really close next to it. It's actually easier to see on the aqua side. You can see where I'm just cutting some very thin strips up the paper to create a fringe. And I think they do make actual fringing scissors, but I don't fringe things all that much. So it depends on how much you want to fringe things as to whether or not you will want those scissors. And this actually seemed to work. So I'm just going to kind of flare it out. I do kind of want the black side up, but I want the blue to show a little bit. So we're going to just kind of take and crinkle these out a bit. So that way you can see that there is some of the aqua there, but it's primarily black. That's going to be coming off the end over here. We're going to attach our tassel over here so I can see where I'm going to have to cut off some of this. But I do, in the meantime, want to twist a little bit more first, just so that way you can see the aqua a little bit better too. Oh, good, that is holding really nicely. And here we go. Okay, so let me cut this off, and then I'm going to get some more of my glue on this end here. Oops, that's really long, I think, because my fingers were in the way. So I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. There we go. Get my glue going again. And we're going to get this end stuck together, and then we're going to stick it down to the tassel here. So first things first, let's get this separated on the end that's going to be up. Trying to not have my hands in the way so you all can see what I'm doing. It's tricky though. I'm going to put these two pieces together. So the black and the blue that I've twisted are going together here. Whoops. I might be sticking my fingers together just a little bit. And then we're going to stick the tassel onto the back side of this blue. So I'm just going to put a little bit, another dot of glue on the back side of this aqua here. Whoops. And then we're going to stick this to our tassel. And it's a nice thing that even though the glue comes out blue, it dries clear. And whoops, hang on, my thing came unstuck. I think maybe all the twisting. There we go. I'm trying to get it back over to this other side of the page here. So holding it together, just a moment here, and then I'm going to add an extra glue dot. Actually, we should probably put this side down. I just want the black side up, but now I'm going to put the, actually I do want to switch that because I want the black side up. Okay, so let me add another glue dot. Sorry about that, folks. I wasn't thinking about that when I put my first glue dot on. It's a good thing I realized before it dried all the way. I can rub my fingernail just a little bit to get off some of the extra glue from the top part. And now our tassel is sticking to our cord. And do we actually want to stick that down on the page as well? Probably, so then that way it's not interfering with anything. So let me add just a little more glue back here. I can see what I'm doing. Nope, that just came off. Come on, glue. There we go. Oops, my glue pen I thought was running out on me a little bit, but it's hard to see on the aqua. So I'm just going to put everything into this glue dot here. Oops. Again, it's a good thing it dries clear because I definitely got a little bit too much on there. Use my finger and kind of just wipe it off. If you have a tissue nearby or a paper towel, you can use that also. And put down the glue pen. Just going to hold this down a minute or two since I did have a good amount of glue. Actually, I'm going to put an extra dot up here. It is hard to see on the aqua. And put our dot, our button, up at the top part here. I think I actually have more glue on my finger than I do on the paper. There we go. So there's our button to hold our tassel, and there is our actual tassel. Here, use my multi-purpose tool. Get a little bit of this extra off of here. And I'm going to go wash my hands a minute so I can get this finished up for you all. You can take a little bit of a damp paper towel if you want, if you get too much glue, but I'm just going to leave mine. I'm going to put my cap back on my glue pen. Go ahead and get rid of the scraps because we are not going to use those. And in the embellishment pack, there's this class of and numbers that I wanted to add to our hat. Oops. And my son graduated in 2022, so I'm going to put 2022 on mine. I might do it with repositionable just in case I changed my mind and decide to use it for my daughter later. Yeah, let's go ahead and put everything diagonal and grab the repositionable tape, grab my board here again. Yeah, you could use foam squares if you really wanted to. I don't think I am for this because of, like I said, trying to mimic the whole decorating the graduation cap thing. Whoops. Just getting a little bit of repositionable tape on each of these numbers. And here we go. Giving it maybe 1/8 of an inch spacing, if that, because they're a little bit tight on this 4x4 piece of paper. The middle ones can be a little bit closer, and just kind of allowing that extra space to be on each end. Let's see. Yep, nope, we got to move it over. Maybe not. We may not have space on each end. We may be right up against it. Another good reason to use the repositionable, though. Use this multi-purpose tool is always so wonderful. It helps out so much. All right. So there we go. It just fits going across. So these must be 1 inch if it just fits our 4-inch going across. But how's about that? And then this can be either for a journal box, which is kind of what our original sketch shows, a small journal box over here. Or you can actually use it for another photo, maybe a photo of actually how your child decorated their cap for their graduation. It might be kind of fun to actually have the picture here of the actual hat. Let's see if we want to add any stickers. And thinking maybe not. I'm going to wait again. A lot of times I don't have any hesitation with what I want to add, but I think since we did so much here, I'm going to see if I find a picture of his hat. Or, I mean, you can easily add, maybe something else up here, like maybe the balloon going up. But you really don't need a ton because you already have so much going on right here that maybe just keeping it simple might be a good thing this time. So here it is up close. Whoops. And there is our little cap that we created along with our mats for our photos. And I hope you enjoyed this version of Sketch with Me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of my little cap I did here. I mean, maybe you could have taken some stickers and done something similar, but basically it kind of was this sticker here is what made me realize, hey, why don't we make a cap as part of our page? And then I just thought the sticker was too small, and since I had the sketch already kind of picked out, I actually was thinking of doing something a little bit different. And then I saw the cap and I was like, okay, we're going to give it a try, and I'm glad it worked out. It looks cute, and you can mix it with any color cardstock you have or even any of the designer papers. So that is it for this Sketch with Me for Congrats Grad. Until next time.